I've been using the latest version of the Series 7 Apple Watch since this was released last September. That's almost 9 months straight now. Where does the time go? Look, there are no two ways about it. The Apple Watch is the best option for a smartwatch if you are in the Apple ecosystem. And it's a real reason to potentially move over to the Apple system if you are looking for a persistent tracking tool. It's small, it's well priced, it's packed with features, and it works so well, it's hard to think of another watch stacking up to it. You can buy this brand new from Apple for $399 for the lowest end option. Now, we're not gonna go through every single purchasing or customization option in this video because there are a metric boatload. You can customize watch bands, finishes, colors, sizes. There is so much that you can personalize on hand here. You can take that demure $399 base model up to some serious luxury collaborations in the thousands of dollars. I'm not all that fancy of a person, so I personally own the smaller, cheaper version of the Apple Watch. There's one upgrade that I gave myself, and that's the cellular connection. If we start off with the things that I don't like, I don't really have anything serious or deal breakery to complain about when it comes to the Series 7. It's weird for me because normally I try and figure out things that I dislike in an actionable way. Hey, your phone doesn't have enough battery life. Give it more. Hey, your iPad doesn't have full screen functionality on external displays. Fix that, please. But for this watch, there's nothing really to compare it to get improvements. I will say I do wish the battery life was better, but I think this is in a spot where all smartwatch makers really need to work on what the future of the smartwatch looks like. Because like I would say for an electric vehicle, the hardest part for selling a watch like this to somebody is that you go from a watch that probably only needs a new battery every 5 or 6 years, and now you need something that charges every single night. That's a huge problem, but I don't mind it personally because I have a little stand and a habit built around charging it. This is not unique to Apple Watches. All watches can only have so big of a battery inside of it, and trying to get all of the awesome features packed in here, you do need something to power those features. See, that's what I'm saying. It's tough to nail these down because sure, I can say give us more battery life all day long, but going from 8 to 10 to 12 to 14 hours, that's not that much of a difference because folks using smartwatches have already figured out a way around it, and it's going to be a long time until that goes to like 5-6 years for a battery swap. Like, it's tough to complain about. Something else I don't like is another system level problem. I don't like the charger that you use for the Apple Watch. Like I said, I have a little stand that holds my watch and my AirPods at the same time, and it used to work perfectly fine when I would take my watch off and start charging it. But on the Series 7, the angle of the band right here is too extreme, and it won't allow for connection. So I have to unattach my watch. Like, I have to do this every single time I want to charge it. Sure, I could take the charger out of that stand and use it in normal mode, but much like MagSafe on my phone, I only really like it because it's in a stand, and that stand gives structure to the charger. Okay, the last thing that I don't like, and I really hope this is changed or updated in software here soon, I hate that you have to have an iPhone to use the Apple Watch. With my cellular version, I could almost totally use my watch as my communication device during the day. I can text, call, basically do everything from here, but I still need an iPhone to set it up and to get my software updates. And that reminds me, point 5 thing that I don't like, getting software updates on the Apple Watch sucks. Every morning when I put this on, I tell it, hey, update this at night, and it keeps deciding not to. Like, don't ask me if you can do it if you're just not gonna do it. My watch and I are arguing like my 9-year-old and I sometimes do. And yes, I do wish that could open this up to work with an Android phone or something, but even if we want to stick solely to Apple, I wish you could get the watch app on a MacBook or on an iPad. Let me control this with a device other than the iPhone, especially if you, well, not you as in viewer, unless you are Apple watching, you as in Apple, if you are trying to make a move towards right to repair and giving consumers more control over our tech, stop this iPhone dependence. It is such a pain in the butt. Definitely some weird problems and nothing wholly unique to the Series 7. These are more Apple Watch problems instead of Series 7 problems, and it's like that because I so thoroughly enjoy using this. Spoilers, I think the Apple Watch Series 7 is incredible. While the Series 6 and 7 have a lot in common, easily my favorite part of the new watch is the updated screen bezel design. It's like a totally different watch when you use a 7 compared to the 6. If you use the two in isolation and you never physically see them with your eyes at the same time, I don't think you would notice the difference because obviously both work great. But holy crap, once you start using that ever so slightly bigger screen, it's just a better experience. Yes, on paper, the screen difference looks minute. It's like, what, millimeters or something? I've never owned the larger watch face, so I can't say for that one, but for the 41 millimeter face, it's remarkably different. The difference goes from barely being able to tap any buttons or the user interface icons, and then easily being able to tap them even when on the move. It used to drive me crazy that even sometimes when I'd be walking, I would have to stop and really focus on tapping just the right app, trying to get the next song playing, or typing in a pin or something. But the little bit of difference in the screen for the Series 7 means I can do all of that stuff even when I'm out running. And look, I get it. I know that sounds like fanboy shill, whatever else you feel like calling my biased take on this watch, but the updated screen is a gigantic quality of life improvement that I personally couldn't live without by going back to a Series 6. I'm not sure I would recommend upgrading from 6 to 7 just for the screen, but once you move up from an older watch to the Series 7, you won't be able to go back in the other direction. Speaking of the physical construction, I also really like just how comfortable this watch is to wear. I generally hate wearing accessories or jewelry, and I find myself wearing this all the time. What brought this up to my mind is I've recently tried growing up and giving mechanical watches a try, but they end up being pretty big, pretty heavy, and while I know the one I own isn't all mechanical watches, I just find it uncomfortable to wear, and I find myself looking for excuses to take it off instead of putting it on. The Apple Watch just fits perfect. It doesn't get in the way when I need to move my hand around, the crown doesn't dig into the top of my hand, and with all of the band customization options, you can really make it feel, and you can size it literally however you want to. Speaking of watch bands, the next thing I've continued to like about the Series 7 are those new watch bands. I like that Apple is always adding new and updated sorts of bands each year with the Apple Watch, and while I primarily use the sports braid loop, I've been trying out the solo loop from time to time during my non-workout periods, and it's incredibly comfortable. Plus, it's comfortable and convenient, and that's like a 1-2 punch of making me happy with a piece of gear. I also have continued to like just the overall system. Remember, I don't like the iPhone requirement, but when it comes to the overall Apple ecosystem that surrounds the watch, I really like that if I'm out running and I need to respond to a text or set a reminder to myself, I can talk it into the watch and it automatically saves to my computer and to my phone. That saves me all of the time. I think I said this in the last Apple Watch video, but I have an awful short-term memory, and my best ideas always seem to hit me when I'm running. If I didn't have the ability to dictate those into my watch, they would never happen because I would absolutely forget them by the time my run is over. Speaking of running, the next thing I've continued to like is how well the Series 7 works as a fitness tracker. I used to need a heart rate monitor strapped around the chest, a heart rate monitor watch, a chip in my shoe, and the chip's watch to know what kind of a pace that I was running. Now it's all totally located on my watch. GPS tracking, heart rate, pacing, everything is right here. Yes, there are a few things that I wish they would include, but as this costs far less than just my GPS watch did a couple of years ago, I feel like I can let that slide. Not only does it do all of my fitness tracking, but because I have the cellular version, it also streams all of my music. I pop my AirPods Pro in, start the music, tap the outdoor run program, and I get going. Plus, we just got done traveling out of state, and I mean we just walked in the house like 15 minutes ago, but I still need to make this video. And while we were out traveling, I needed to get my workouts done on a treadmill, which the Series 7 has a workout mode for. This is like the Swiss Army knife of fitness trackers and watches. I literally don't use anything else anymore. The next thing I've liked is being able to control my phone's camera with my watch. I know that's not a new feature for the Apple Watch, but it's new for me to be using it as much as I have been. My phone and my wife's phone are our family's main cameras, and she loves getting a lot of pictures taken. So we'll set the phone down, we'll set it in places, and we'll frame ourselves up, and we'll be able to take our pictures with our watches. It's really easy, and I like that it works with a viewfinder on the watch. It could have been really easy for Apple to skimp out and just put a shutter release on there, but being able to frame everything up and take the picture or video from the watch makes that app really useful. Going into more work stuff, another thing that I've really continued to like is how customizable the notifications are. One of the main reasons to get a smartwatch in the first place is to have your notifications managed and to know as soon as possible when something comes in. Some watches don't handle this as well, and they will either not send the notifications as fast or will not let you filter them. And let's be frank, I don't need to know every time a piece of spam email comes in. But here in the Apple Watch, you get a lot of control over what comes in and when. Plus, you can set contextual focus blocks on, so say you are at dinner and you only want to let emergencies through, you can. Or if you are billing for a certain client and you only want to let in their notifications during that time period, you can set who and what can notify you within the system. And I've got to say, that's pretty darn useful if you are somebody that doesn't only bill to one client. Or if it's date night and you only want to let the childcare person through, that's all. All of this stuff is only a couple of taps away. Seriously, I love my Apple Watch, and I think the Series 7 is easily the best one Apple's come up with yet. I wouldn't upgrade from a 6 to a 7 because besides the screen, there isn't too much new. But this is a huge leap forward for somebody coming from a Series 5 or older. And I would definitely say that if you are new to smartwatches, get the 7 instead of a cheaper, older Series 6. And if you like this video, you should check out some cool features you might not know that the Apple Watch can do. And you can find that video by clicking right here. Click, 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 click. Thanks for watching.